Okay, peace and blessings. I last left off on the sea salt. Sea salt and visualization are two very powerful techniques, and I can attest that they absolutely do work. I had to go and get my boys, so I had to put my live on somewhat of a pause. But okay, so I'm just gonna dive right in. Next on my list of things that I have tried is the red brick dust. You can sprinkle it around the property of your house, right around your home. Um, Even if you're in an apartment, because I've gotten that question before too. Like, what if you're in an apartment? You could sprinkle it around the premises of your apartment as well. The building that your particular apartment is in. Um, Ooh, that cinnamon smells really good. Um, I have some in my cauldron on top of a charcoal disc, and it just smells so good. Cinnamon is a protective herb. Um, it the thing that I love about cinnamon is that it's closely related to or connected with the Leo, and it's fiery, it's passionate, but it's also connected with the moon as well. So it has that feminine vibe, that feminine energy, very subtle, very soft. So the two together make it like spicy, fiery, but like that's where that warm smell and feeling you get when you smell like cinnamon burning, comes from, because like it's a mixture of both masculine and feminine energy. Um, but I was also talking about the cascarilla powder, and what I like to do is get the eggshells after I've used them, and I usually keep them in the carton in the refrigerator until I'm ready to use them. Um, I'll then take them and like rinse them out really good. I don't know why. But yep, I knew it. My screen turns down by itself. But anyways, um, yeah, that looks much better. So I'll take it, I'll rinse it out, cleanse it out really good, and then I'll take the shells and I'll let them dry out really good, and then put them in my mortar and pestle, and I'll ground them up. Um, I like to grind them up because, it's putting your intentions into it, the grinding part, as you're, crushing it up and grinding it into the fine powder state. You're putting your intentions in there. Like, you're thinking protection, you're thinking peaceful home. So I like to hand ground it, but then I also like to put mines in the blender and make sure that it goes like totally and completely into like a really, really fine ground powder. Um, so whatever I didn't do in crushing and grinding it up, the blender takes care of afterwards. And then I put more of my intentions into it, and then I put it into a container. Um, Very protective. It's almost like a banishing as well, and a purification of the home. So I like to use it because, hey, it's also a cleanser. Um, what I use it for is to line my front door with sometimes, or I will take it and I will draw like sigils on the floor in in my living room. I draw sigils around the house, protective sigils, in the cascarilla powder, and you could actually turn it into a piece of chalk. Google it. There's instructions on how to do it, and that way you could. What I do is I'll take like a sprinkling bottle, where like an old seasoning bottle that I've cleansed out, and I'll put some in there, and I'll just sprinkle like until I form the sigils. Or you could do it with your hands, or like I said, form it into the chalk. Um, so that's pretty good. That's a good one. Hot foot powder. Um, that within itself, it's derived from hoodoo. Hot foot powder is one of my favorites because it is like I don't think it's the most time consuming. So to me, it's like one of the lesser of time consuming ways to form protection. I hope y'all can hear me. Sometimes I cover up the microphone. But anyways, with hot foot powder, there's lots of ways to do it. Some people include the sulfur, the graveyard dirt, the regular ingredients like the salt, pepper, the black pepper, cayenne pepper, um, um, just to name a few. I particularly I'll go by the traditional recipe at times, but then sometimes I won't include, or I'll include everything except like the sulfur, the graveyard dirt, you know. I'll do sea salt, black pepper, cayenne pepper, um, sometimes chili powder, but sometimes not. Lately, I haven't been using chili powder. It's all, in what makes you feel most comfortable, whatever your preference is. So sometimes I will not, more than likely, I will not use chili powder. I'll just use the basic three ingredients, which is the sea salt, black pepper, cayenne pepper, and then I'll also add in the black mustard seed. And I add in the black mustard seed because it causes confusion to your enemies. So when you lay down hot foot powder, it's usually referred to as laying down of tricks. Um, when your enemy steps into the path of hot foot powder, you have put down. Um, Basically, the tale is that it causes your enemies to walk aimlessly, like for the rest of their lives. Um, so it's a really good protector. I did mention the cinnamon. Cinnamon also repels ants and some of the other insects. So laying it down like around your house, as well as on the exterior of your house, is really good to repel insects. They do not like it, especially ants. Um, um, what else? Okay, so I did mention how you could burn it as an incense. Um, like how I have it on the charcoal disc. You could burn it like that. Or another way I tried was you take 9 cinnamon sticks, not the ground powder, but the cinnamon sticks, and you tie them with like a black string, yarn, rubber band, whatever you have. Um, Tie them up together, and then hang them like over um, the entryways of your doors or windows. You can even put the 9 cinnamon sticks down on your window sills. Um, it's very good protection. Um, oh yes, you can also carry it on you. So like I'm trying to remember everything that I do with it. Um, so what I'll do is in my wallet, I'll sprinkle some in there, or I'll put like 3 cinnamon sticks. Um, that way that protective energy is around you at all times. Um, Frankincense and myrrh, which is also a couple of the herbs that I'm burning right now with the cinnamon, um, which I need to. Hold on, guys. Okay, so I just basically like added a little bit more cinnamon, but so basically, you could put it in your wallet. You can carry it on you. That way, you have that protective energy around you when you're out and about as well. Um, and the frankincense and myrrh, you can burn that as incense also, which I have it on in my cauldron on top of the charcoal disc along with the cinnamon. Um, basically, remember frankincense and myrrh is mentioned in the Bible, and it was a gift like given around the time that Jesus was born. That's how the story goes, and frankincense and myrrh is very powerful. It is a cleanser, um, and basically, I'd say it has healing properties too, because you could use it during like the cold and flu seasons, like basically like the here and now, like when it's cold out. Just keep sunburned consistently so that it goes up into the air and actually rids the home or the environment of viruses and bacteria and any bacteria closely associated with the flu. It'll keep it at bay. Um, so that's a good one to, keep on hand, frankincense and myrrh. Also, there's the ancestor altar. Now, I mentioned that because the ancestor altar, your ancestors are your first line of defense against protection against anything. They're always there watching. They're always there looking out for you. So if you have an ancestor altar or you're thinking about getting one or putting one up, make sure to keep it clean. Make sure to keep it nice and fresh. Clean it off ever so often. Different things can spill on it, like when you're giving offerings to your ancestors and different things of that nature. You want to make sure that um, bad on the altar. They don't like that. Make sure your water stays fresh and not like smoky and gray, like it's been sitting there for a while. You want to make sure that your ancestor altar is always taken care of and stays, fresh looking all the time, clean looking all the time. Um, the more positive intentions you put into respecting and honoring them, the more it will bless you. Like I said, they're your first line of defense against things that you may know or may not know is happening. What I call the seen and the unseen dangers. So, you know, keep that in mind. Um, the dragon's blood incense is another one that I use now. Although it's not necessarily a protector, you can use it in protective magic. You could use it in protective rituals, like when you're burning incense, like I have on the charcoal disc over there. You can add a little bit of dragon's blood to enhance or make your protection workings that much more potent. So remember that you can add dragon's blood and it will make it that much more potent, not just for your protective work, but for love work, sexuality work, prosperity work, all of that. But I mention it now because it can be used to enhance your protective work as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Um, you can also put like go on Google, look up all the protective herbs, find which ones are closely connected or like you feel more drawn to. Pick those protective herbs and you can put them into like a mojo bag or um, hang them on your front door, like, on top of the threshold, or literally hang them on your door, the doorknob, so that nothing can cross the entranceway because you have your protective herbs there. And I would change them out every so often so that the energy doesn't get stale or it's not as strong enough to do its work as it was when you first put it there. I would change it out ever so often. Um, Oh yeah, burning sage. A lot of people like to burn sage, and burning sage is good. I mostly use it to cleanse my candles, or um, that's pretty much all I will use it for. Mainly, is to cleanse my candles. Um, because if you think about it, sage is meant to not only dispel of negativity, but bring things, whatever it is you're saging, or the environment that you're saging. If it's your house, it's meant to bring it back to neutral. So it erases all positive and negative um, vibrations. And you don't necessarily want to erase the positive, just the negative. So that's why I will sage, but I might use sage with like sweetgrass or copal, So while the sage is clearing out the negativity, the other particular herb that's being burned along with it or mixed with it is enhancing and keeping forth the positive, if you will. Um, so that's what I like to do. I don't necessarily like to sage. I prefer like yerba santa or palo santo sticks. Palo santo sticks are like my favorite. They smell so good. If you haven't tried them, try them. Um, Also, when you're washing your clothes, after you've like put your detergents or your washing powders in your load of clothes, right before the rinse cycle, add some sea salt to it. Add some sea salt to your clothes, because like it will help to protect and cleanse the threshold of your household. It also will protect and cleanse your clothes. Um, excuse me. Remember, when we're out and about on a daily basis, negative energies can attach to not only our physical bodies, not only our spiritual bodies, but our clothes and valuables, things that we have on us also. So you want to make sure that you're constantly cleansing those things too, because, the negative energy can attach to pretty much anything. So when you wash clothes, why not make sure that you have a little bit of salt to go into the wash too, to cleanse it spiritually, cleanse off the things that we don't necessarily see. Um, the spiritual gunk or negativity that may have attached on to those particular clothes, when you wore them out the day before. So that's another great protective method. Um, I believe I did mention floor washes and sprays, but just in case I didn't, when you choose your protective herbs, um, you can kind of like boil them, not boil them, but um, maybe like boil the water first, and then once the water boils and you turn off the water and you add your protective herbs in, let them kind of steep in there for a little bit, and then you want to pour the water off of the herbs into, like a spray bottle, and you can use that, as a protection spray, like to spray around your house, or as a floor wash to mop your floor with, spray your floor with if you have like, carpet, spray your furniture with, just to keep, negativity or negative entities, negative energy from seeping into, your home, in, your floor and your furniture and different things of that nature. Um, Also, there's a Archangel Michael oil that you can get. You could turn it into a spray, or you could leave it in oil form. You could put it on every day, especially when you go out of the house. You can put it on. You can wear it out. Um, you could take some on your hand and put on like, put just like a dab on like your wrist, and then like rub it all. Like I like to take, my hand, like rub it all over, my clothes, my neck, um, I like to put it on, like put it a little bit into my wallet, um, my purse, like any of my belongings. I put a little on my children before they go out the door. I also use it in candle workings for protection. Um, so I'll pour a little bit into a candle. It already has the herbs and the spices and the oil. And I will basically ask Archangel Michael to assist me with protecting my home from lower vibrational entities and frequencies. And that really works good. Or I'll just get an Archangel Michael candle. Um, oh, mustard seeds. I think I did mention that I like to put them in my hot foot powder, but I also like to maybe take three of them and place them into my car as well. Um, Anything can happen. Police can just, at any given time want to stop you for whatever reason. When you put three mustard seeds into your car, it literally keeps the law away. Um, I have tried it. It works. Um, when you dress a candle, you can either dress it with protective oil after, cleansing the candle, dress it with your protective oil, or sometimes in most cases I like to do like an olive oil base, and I'll put like my protective herbs in, like just a little bit of the protective herbs into the candle, but I'm very careful not to put the herbs close to the wick. So, because then it'll be like a big fire, uncontrollable. Um, just try to put the herbs like around, the insides, like by the glass, or around the outer areas of the candle, not by the wick. Um, so that's a protective spell right there. Um, I also, along with burning an Archangel Michael candle, I like to burn a peaceful home candle, and I like to alternate between the two. Um, or I'll do them together, because the Archangel Michael candle is for the protection, and then the peaceful home, well, self-explanatory. You do both of those together, you have a really warm, good feeling, positive feeling, in your home, in the atmosphere, while they're burning together. It's like the balance, of both worlds. So I like to do both of them together. Also, bay leaf. You can soak it in water for 3 days, and then just take some of the water ever so often as you feel. I like to do cleansings like weekly. So you could take the water and just like sprinkle a little bit in the corners of your home ever so often. I also like to burn the bay leaf, so charcoal disc, and then I'll put a couple of bay leaves on top of that, and smells so earthy. Like, I love earthy smells, but serves as a great form of protection. Bay leaf is very protective, so that's a good option as well. Garlic banishes negative energy and all forms of evil. Um, we know, like in horror movies, garlic, repels vampires. Well, garlic will continuously repel energetic vampires in the here and now. So even if it's not necessarily an energetic thing, if you know a person that's an energy vampire, a physical being that's an energy vampire, and they just seem to drain you, it's good to keep garlic on you. It will repel that vampiric energy from you. Um, Garlic is really good to keep on hand. I cook with it anyway, so I always have it. A lot of the herbs and spices that I use, I already have in my cabinet, so it helps to have them and then be able to alternate between cooking with them and also using them for magic. So it works out really good. There's also basil, which is another kitchen herb. Um, I use basil in my floor washes, but you could also put it into a mojo bag. Um, it's for basically general protection overall. Mistletoe, it banishes negative energy. It banishes evil and it invites in love, and it also cleanses away sickness. So that could also potentially be another herb that you would use during like cold and flu seasons. Um, like mistletoes you see like in the Christmas movies where, people kiss under the mistletoe. Well, it's not only a symbol of love and can be used in love spells, love workings, but it also can be used for protection as well. So I like multi uses for different herbs and things of that nature. Um, Okay, so getting down to crystals, black tourmaline, it repels, lower vibrational energies, harmful frequencies. Um, Basically, that's another all around protection. It's really good. I like to keep that on me. I carry it on me every day, and I love black tourmaline. Excuse me. Black tourmaline is really good, and I also love labradorite. Hope I'm pronouncing it right, but labradorite. It's really beautiful. It's got like rainbows all over it, and it shields against ill wishes and psychic attacks. So that's something to keep on hand too. I also keep that on me every day that I go out. Um, Fluorite. Fluorite is a really good crystal as well. And I need to get some more of them because I don't really have a lot of fluorite at all. But it protects against um, sorcery, psychic attacks, curses that have been laid against you. Um, it's a really good one to have. Black obsidian. That's a really good one to have. I keep that on me every day. Um, Basically, same thing. Protects against sorcery, ill fortune, ill wishes from others. It's also a banishing crystal. So it literally does like what a banishing oil would do. It literally, keeps away negative entities, negative spirits, ill intentions, all of that good stuff. Um, but it also, I love how it's also like a healing crystal too. So it helps you to become like more aware of your darker side or your shadow aspects. It helps you to become more aware of that so that once you do become aware of it, you can see if actually um, your darker side or your shadow side contributes to different situations that are happening around you. So that's the beauty of Black Obsidian. It kind of holds up a mirror to you and kind of forces you to face yourself as well as protecting you from outside negative forces. Um, so that's the beauty of it. And then there's also the Apache tears. I keep that on me too. I love the Apache tear because well, I accidentally got it. I actually went to a crystal store and I was looking for obsidian or tourmaline. And I was just going around like, okay, I'm gonna take some of this, and I'm picking them up. And I got home and I was like, I don't think this is black tourmaline or black obsidian. And it turns out that it was actually an Apache tear. And I love it. I love the energy that I get off of it. Very good protective crystal. Um, it actually transmutes negative energy into positive. It as well as the hematite. The hematite kind of does the same thing. It transmutes the negative energy into positive energy. But the hematite also calms you in stressful and worrisome situations. Um, like I said, it's protective, but it also keeps you grounded. And it's really good to use in court too. So when you go to court for a court case, have like the hematite necklace or bracelet on you, or even carry it, just a single crystal of the hematite. Really good to have on deck, especially where court is concerned. And also, on top of that, it is a healing crystal. Like if you have anemia, and I have struggled with anemia. It produces levels of iron, like it aids in producing levels of iron within your body and system. So that alone is a great positive. Great reason to keep some on hand. Um, and then last but not least, there's like Bible verses. I particularly am partial to Psalms. So I will go and look up, like when I'm doing protective work for my home or my family or my finances, I will go and look up um, some chapters in the Bible, and particularly Psalms, which is my favorite pretty much. And I'll look up Psalms 7, 27, 31, and 34. And those are good scriptures to use when you're doing protective work, or if you're trying to invoke the energy, the protective energy in a talisman, and you're trying to enchant something to be a talisman, or something, anything like that, or you want to maybe empower your herbs with your intentions or your candle work as you're doing it, then I read Psalms over it, and it works. It works really good, and it works really fast. So those are some of my ways of um, casting protection over not only myself, but my family, my household, my finances, all areas of life, my love life, all of it. So you can do the same. Very easy ways to do it. I'm sure there's many other ways out there to do it, but those are, in my opinion, like the most simplistic, the most easiest ways to do it. Comment down below if you've tried it, or if you plan to try one of my ways of doing it. Well, not my way. It doesn't belong to me. Everyone has learned from someone. But those are the ways that are most they most resonate with me, and they're very easy to carry out. So if you know of other ways and you want to share them, comment down below. Let me know what you do to protect yourself and your family and your other areas of life. Or if you have any questions and you want me to delve deeper into something, let me know. Comment down below. Until the next time, I look forward to seeing you guys again. And I hope you all have a wonderful Tuesday. Peace and blessings, guys.